So maybe you saw this great movie, Inception. In case you didn't, or as a reminder, this is a Christopher Nolan science fiction heist thriller. The star is Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's a skilled thief who specializes in extraction, which is this fictional process of entering a person's dream and stealing valuable secrets from deep within their subconscious. Now, the core of the story revolves around this idea of inception, which is the idea of planting an idea into somebody's subconscious mind without them knowing. So without giving away any details, DiCaprio sets out to incept an idea into a business magnate's dream. And this is a really complex operation that requires his team to navigate through dreams within dreams within dreams. And I won't give away any spoilers here, but one of the very cinematically cool ideas of the movie is that each layer of dreams has successive time dilation. So when you go down into the first level, 10 seconds in the real world might correspond to a minute of dream time. And as you go deeper, the 10 seconds might correspond to a year or a decade of dream time. So the idea in the movie is that dream time does not correspond to real time. Now, it's a terrific movie, and if you haven't seen it, you should. But there's this question, which lots of people have wondered about, which is, how would you know if that's true? How would you know whether dream time matches real time or not? Now, you might feel like they don't correspond, and this is in part because sometimes you wake up from a dream and you want to tell someone about it, but the telling of the dream often seems to take a long time, even if the dream only took you a second. And in the last episode, I touched on why this can be confusing, because sometimes you have to explain a bunch of background details, and sometimes you have false memories in the dream that need to be included. And so it sometimes takes time to get the whole thing put into words. So it can be difficult to answer whether dream time and real time correspond. But today, we're going to go one step deeper. We're going to ask, is there a way that you could actually test this? Now, think about what a difficult question this is, because it would require somebody to be inside of their dream, and somehow they would need to communicate with you what they are experiencing privately in their head. Now, that sounds totally impossible under normal circumstances. But the question is, could you ever be inside a dream and figure out how to communicate outside of the dream? Or even better, could we think of a way to get bi-directional communication so that someone outside can communicate with you in your dream and then you communicate back out to them? Well, it turns out there is a way to do that. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about lucid dreaming. And this is when a sleeper realizes that he or she is dreaming and then is able to take some control over the plot of their dream. They might choose to fly, or they can try to control other people's actions, or generally just manipulate the physical world of the dream. So here's my analogy. You know those kids' rides at the amusement park where you're sitting in a car and you can steer the wheel, but the wheel doesn't actually do anything. You're just on a track and the car just follows wherever the track goes. So imagine if you could get the steering wheel to work and actually steer off that track. That's what a lucid dream is. Instead of you always being the follower in your dream, you are now the driver. Now, to many people, lucid dreaming might sound like a concept straight out of science fiction, but it's a well-documented state of sleep. A dreamer can become aware that they are dreaming, and this awareness can range from a faint recognition of the dream state to a more profound acuity where the dreamer takes control over their own actions and manipulates their environment. Now, to understand this, we need to remember what we talked about in the last two episodes, which is that our sleep during the night moves through various phases. And one of these is called the rapid eye movement stage of sleep, or REM sleep. and this is where our vivid dreams occur. And it's during REM sleep that lucid dreaming is most likely to take place. Now, I mentioned last week that during REM sleep, our body's major muscles are paralyzed, which prevents us from acting out our dreams. And this is also true during a lucid dream. But certain other parts of the brain, especially those involved in self-awareness and executive function, these become more active when you're having a lucid dream. So we usually think of brains as having two possible states. You're either awake or you're asleep. But being in a lucid dream is somewhere in between, and the brainwave activity measured by EEG is different from normal REM sleep. So this makes lucid dreaming a unique state of consciousness where the dreaming mind wakes up, but the body remains in the sleep state. So the first question is, how do you do this? How do you become lucid in a dream? Sometimes, if you're very lucky, a lucid dream will happen accidentally. I had one many years ago when I was in a dream where I was at my high school locker bay with all my classmates, and it slowly dawned on me that I was in a dream and that none of this was real. And I was able to take control of my dream, but it only lasted a few seconds before I woke up. But lucid dream aficionados can train themselves in a variety of ways that we'll talk about to have lucidity more often and for longer. The main technique involves setting an intention just before going to sleep to look for signs that you're dreaming, little clues that something doesn't quite make sense. And then the idea is if you see those things, that will alert you that you are inside a dream, and then you can try to take control. The general story is that if we get good enough at questioning reality, we can then pass more easily into lucid dreaming.